The Young and the Restless spoilers. The night was eerily quiet in Genoa City, a calm before the storm. Mariah Copeland and Sharon Newman had no idea their lives were about to collide with a dark force from their past, Ian Ward. His return was not just a shadow over their happiness, it was a manifestation of their worst nightmares. Ian's obsession, Mariah's role in his cult. Ian Ward had always been a master manipulator, a man who thrived on power and control. His obsession with Mariah had never faded. To him, she wasn't just a person, she was the key to reclaiming his lost influence and reviving the twisted religion he had once founded. Mariah, however, wanted nothing to do with him or his cult. She had fought hard to leave her traumatic past behind, burying the memories of her time under Ian's control. But when she saw his face again, all the fear, helplessness, and horror came rushing back. "I don't want to remember," Mariah had once confided to Tessa. "It's better that way." But Ian wasn't about to let her forget. His plan was cruelly simple. If he could break Mariah mentally, emotionally, and physically, she would have no choice but to return to him. And Sharon? She was collateral damage, a scapegoat he could use to deflect the blame for his own crimes. The kidnapping, a mother and daughter in peril, it happened swiftly, almost too easily. Mariah and Sharon were both taken in the dead of night, drugged and dragged to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Genoa City. When they awoke, the smell of smoke filled their nostrils, and the crackle of flames echoed in the distance. Mariah blinked, her vision hazy. Her arms and legs were bound tightly to a chair, the rough rope cutting into her skin. Sharon was beside her, also tied, her face pale with terror. "What's happening?" Sharon whispered, her voice trembling. "Mariah, are you okay?" Mariah's heart pounded as she looked around the room. Flames licked at the edges of the wooden walls, the heat intensifying with each passing second. Ian Ward stood before them, a menacing silhouette against the fiery backdrop. "Welcome back, Mariah," Ian said, his voice eerily calm. "It's time for you to fulfill your destiny. Let us go." Sharon shouted, struggling against her restraints. "Whatever you think you're doing, Ian, it won't work." Ian turned to her, his expression cold. "Oh, Sharon. Always so defiant, so self-righteous. You've ruined everything I've built, and now you'll take the blame for its destruction." Jordan's conflict, a moment of truth unbeknownst to Ian. Jordan Howard was watching from the shadows. She had initially allied herself with Ian out of desperation and a shared hatred for the Newmans, but she hadn't signed up for this. The sight of Mariah and Sharon, terrified and vulnerable, stirred something deep within her, a flicker of humanity she thought she had lost. As the flames grew, Jordan realized Ian had no intention of letting the women go. He had set the fire to destroy all evidence of his involvement, fully prepared to let Mariah and Sharon die in the inferno. "This isn't what I wanted," Jordan muttered to herself, her heart pounding. She knew she had to make a choice, stand by and let Ian carry out his monstrous plan or risk everything to save the women. A desperate rescue. The flames were closing in, the heat unbearable. Sharon and Mariah screamed for help, but their voices were swallowed by the roar of the fire. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, Jordan emerged from the shadows, her face determined. "Jordan?" Sharon gasped, coughing from the smoke. "What are you doing here?" "No time for questions," Jordan snapped, grabbing a nearby fire extinguisher. She doused the flames blocking her path, then rushed to untie Mariah. "Why are you helping us?" Mariah asked, her voice trembling. "Because someone has to," Jordan replied, her tone curt but tinged with regret. "Ian's gone too far this time." As Jordan freed Sharon, Ian reappeared, his face contorted with rage. "Jordan. What do you think you're doing?" "I'm stopping you, Ian," Jordan shot back. "You've lost your mind. This isn't justice, it's murder." Ian lunged at her, but Jordan was quicker. She grabbed a wooden plank from the floor and swung it at him, knocking him unconscious. She turned back to Mariah and Sharon, who were struggling to stand. "Come on," Jordan urged. "We don't have much time." Escaping the inferno, the trio stumbled through the burning building, dodging falling beams and choking on thick smoke. Jordan led the way, her determination unwavering despite the chaos around them. Finally, they burst through the exit, collapsing onto the cool grass outside. Mariah clung to Sharon, tears streaming down her face. "I thought we were going to die," she whispered. "You're safe now," Jordan said, her voice soft but firm. "But you need to get far away from Ian. He won't stop." Aftermath, redemption or ruin? As the fire consumed the warehouse, sirens wailed in the distance. The police and firefighters arrived moments later, pulling Ian's unconscious body from the wreckage. He was arrested on the spot, his plans finally unraveling. For Jordan, the rescue was bittersweet. She knew her actions had saved Mariah and Sharon, but they also marked the end of her alliance with Ian, and likely her freedom. "You could have let us die," Sharon said quietly as they sat together, waiting for the authorities. "Why didn't you?" Jordan hesitated, then sighed. "Because I couldn't live with myself if I did. Maybe it's too late for me, but it's not too late for you." Mariah, still shaken, looked at Jordan with a mixture of fear and gratitude. "Thank you," she said softly. Jordan nodded, but her expression was somber. She knew she had crossed a line she could never uncross, but for the first time in years, she felt something close to peace. A new beginning? As Ian was taken away in handcuffs and the fire was extinguished, Sharon and Mariah held each other tightly, grateful to be alive. Their bond, tested by fear and danger, had only grown stronger. Jordan's fate remained uncertain. Would she face justice for her role in Ian's schemes, or would her courageous act of redemption grant her a second chance? Only time would tell. For now, Genoa City had been spared from Ian Ward's madness, but the scars of his actions would linger, a reminder of the darkness that even the brightest flames couldn't entirely burn away. Breaking free, the fall of Ian Ward and Jordan's redemption. Before Ian Ward and Jordan Howard returned to Genoa City, life was complicated but manageable for everyone involved. The Newmans, the Abbotts, and their loved ones dealt with their usual dramas, but nothing could have prepared them for the chaos Ian brought in his wake. His arrival was like a storm, tearing apart the lives of those he targeted, leaving destruction in his path. And in the eye of that storm stood Sharon Newman, a woman whose life had already been marked by hardship and betrayal. Ian's cruel manipulations would push her to the brink and beyond. Sharon's descent into chaos. Sharon had always fought to reclaim her life from the shadows of her past, but Ian's schemes pulled her into a nightmare she couldn't escape. Ian's masterstroke was a calculated joke, one that left a trail of devastation, a man dead, and Sharon holding the metaphorical smoking gun. Ian's manipulation was chilling in its simplicity. He planted evidence, staged the scene, and created a web of lies that left Sharon believing she had killed someone, a crime she didn't commit. For Ian, it was all part of the game, a twisted way to assert his power and control over those he saw as weaker. "You see, Sharon," Ian had said, his voice dripping with mockery, "guilt is the ultimate chain. Once you believe you've done something unforgivable, you'll never break free. And I own you now." But Sharon wasn't just a victim, she was a survivor. Even as the guilt consumed her, a part of her refused to believe Ian's lies. She clung to the hope that the truth would come out, that she could reclaim her life. Jordan's breaking point. For Jordan Howard, Ian's actions were a bridge too far. She had aligned with him out of desperation, drawn to his charisma and promises of revenge against the Newmans. But as she watched Ian's plans unfold, plans that turned innocent people into pawns and left chaos in their wake, her disillusionment grew. The moment Sharon became Ian's scapegoat, Jordan's tolerance snapped. She had seen Ian's cruelty before, but this was different. This wasn't just manipulation, it was outright destruction. "This isn't what I signed up for," Jordan confronted Ian one evening, her voice shaking with anger. "I wanted justice, not whatever this is. You're destroying lives for fun." Ian, ever the manipulator, dismissed her concerns with a cold smile. "Don't act like you're innocent in all of this, Jordan. You knew what you were getting into." "No," Jordan said firmly, her voice rising. "I didn't know you'd go this far." Sharon didn't deserve this, and neither does anyone else. Ian's smile faded, replaced by a dangerous glare. Be careful, Jordan. If you're not with me, you're against me. But Jordan had made up her mind. She had reached her limit, and for the first time in years, she saw Ian for what he truly was, a monster who thrived on the suffering of others. Breaking the alliance. Jordan's decision to leave Ian wasn't just a rejection of him, it was a step toward her own redemption. She couldn't undo the harm she had caused, but she could stop enabling Ian's reign of terror. She confronted Ian one final time. This ends here. I'm done with you, Ian. You're on your own. Ian's laugh was cold and dismissive. You think walking away will save you? You're as deep in this as I am, Jordan. Don't forget that. But Jordan wasn't afraid anymore. Maybe, she said, her voice steady. But at least I won't let you drag me down any further. And with that, she left, cutting ties with Ian and vowing to make amends in whatever way she could. The aftermath, picking up the pieces as Jordan distanced herself from Ian, she began to unravel the layers of his schemes. She took a risk by reaching out to Sharon, confessing her role in Ian's manipulations and offering to help expose him. I was wrong, Jordan admitted to Sharon, her voice heavy with regret. I let Ian manipulate me, and I hurt people because of it. But I want to help you now. I want to make things right. Sharon, though still reeling from the trauma Ian had inflicted, recognized the sincerity in Jordan's words. It wasn't forgiveness.